Domain expansions are a sorcerer's strongest and most impressive attack in Jujutsu Kaisen, with only the best of the best able to manifest and summon the technique. It allows the user to trap their opponent within a barrier that is essentially inescapable from the inside, while targeting them with a sure-hit attack that deals high damage. Only a small handful of sorcerers have been able to master the domain expansion, including fan favorites like Gojo, Megumi, and Hikari. But in Chapter 249, a new domain was revealed. Yuta Okotsu, now the world's most powerful sorcerer, trapped Sukuna inside his expansion, named Authentic Mutual Love. Yuta managed to damage Sukuna, something that instantly highlights the threat behind the sorcerer's trump card. Domain expansion is an advanced technique mastered only by the most achieved and talented sorcerers. By manifesting a domain, the user constructs their innate domain inside a barrier and infuses it with their cursed technique, creating a move that amalgamates all their strongest abilities. In a domain expansion, the user's innate technique is enhanced, and all that are activated will be guaranteed to hit their opponent. With such a supreme technique, it's not surprising that only a few sorcerers have managed to master the domain expansion. Gojo Satoru, Hikari Kinji, Fushiguro Megumi, and Higuruma Hiromi were the only sorcerers with their domains revealed, and each demonstrated how epic this technique truly is. The third-year Jujutsu High student Hikari has one of the most modern domains based on gambling. Idle Death Gamble is based on a pachinko-themed game of chance with a 1 in 239 chance of winning. Despite these odds, he claims to have never needed to spin more than 30 times before chance was on his side. Hitting the jackpot grants Hikari unlimited cursed energy, and for 4 minutes and 11 seconds, this flow of cursed energy causes the sorcerer to reflexively use the reverse curse technique to instantaneously heal any injury. This is called unkillable mode as, for this time, Hikari is invincible. Hikari's underclassman, first-year Megumi Fushiguro, is the youngest sorcerer to manifest a domain. Chimera Shadow Garden floods the area with thick shadows, allowing the 10 Shadows users to freely manifest Shikigami and hide within the darkness. Fushiguro first manifested this without a barrier, using the surroundings to enclose the domain, but within a proper barrier, this domain traps the opponent in the user's shadow. Anyone in this shadow must reinforce their feat with cursed energy. In his domain, Fushiguro's manipulation of shadows also increases greatly, allowing him to trick opponents with body doubles or even hide in the enemy's shadow. The sorcerer who mastered their domain the fastest of everyone is Higuruma Hiromi. Just a week after being made a sorcerer, Higuruma was using his domain with as much mastery as Gojo. Based on his previous life as a lawyer, Higuruma's deadly sentencing tries its opponent in court, with 3 possible outcomes from the trial. An innocent verdict does not affect the opponent, while a guilty verdict confiscates their cursed technique for the ensuing battle with Higuruma. However, a death sentence manifests the cursed tool Executioner's Sword, which will immediately kill the opponent with just 1 touch. This domain does not have a sure hit, but everyone inside is forced to follow the rules, and violence is strictly forbidden. Finally, Gojo Satoru's domain is regarded and feared as the most powerful in the verse. Unlimited Void instantaneously traps an opponent in an infinite flow of information once opened, making them feel everything at once while not being able to see or feel anything at all. If too much time is spent inside this domain, the opponent is left in a trance, with weaker sorcerers entirely incapacitated from the overload of information. As such, this domain is an almost guaranteed win, as the opponent is completely immobilized while Gojo's limitless technique is strengthened. While fans have known of Yuta's domain expansion since the Culling Games arc, the domain has never actually been opened. However, Chapter 249 takes place inside the sorcerer's domain expansion, finally displaying the special grade's much-anticipated ultimate move. Fighting Sukuna using anything less than 100% of his ability would be a poor approach from Yuta, so pulling out the big guns straight away is the smartest move. The appropriately named Authentic Mutual Love has successfully trapped Sukuna, making it the only domain to deal the King of Curses any damage. This domain is one of the very best in terms of power, with the main attraction of the expansion being the swords littering the floor. Yuta's innate technique is Copy, which, outside his domain, he can activate after fulfilling the necessary prerequisites. However, within Authentic Mutual Love, the technique is completely unrestricted. Sealed inside each sword in the domain is a cursed technique, and upon wielding a katana, the ability activates. As such, Yuta has hundreds of abilities, most likely collected during the Culling Games, at his disposal. All of these would also be heightened by the terms of the domain, making even the more simple ones powerful. Yuta's innate technique would also be active, so he should be able to copy the techniques of those inside the domain as well. Additionally, having multiple techniques at his disposal, Yuta's domain incorporates Rika. The knot in the background of the domain represents the pair's relationship and symbolizes Yuta's technique, a combination of the abilities of both Yuta and Rika working in harmony. The more a knot is tugged, the closer and tighter it becomes, alluding to the dynamic between the two characters. Rika is already very overpowered outside the domain, so within it, she could be an unstoppable force. Sukuna has been the target of many domain expansions throughout JJK, but none have managed to injure him. Even though he was briefly affected by Unlimited Void, he claimed to have allocated the damage from Gojo's domain to Fushiguro's soul. Because of Sukuna's mastery of Jujutsu, even Unlimited Void did not harm him. Itadori and Maki are both waiting to pounce, combining their abilities with the power of the domain. If all goes to plan, Sukuna's fearsome innate technique will be confiscated, and Yuta can attack with any range of abilities. Rika also has a major role to play, which will hopefully be revealed in upcoming chapters. Yuta's domain will leave the King of Curses outnumbered and potentially helpless, a feat even Gojo Satoru couldn't achieve.